welcome to Simple Cooking Made Simple with the Carolina Chef. We made some brisket today. We marinated it overnight with this awesome marinade. And all the information will be in the description below. So make sure you check that out. But this brisket is juicy, it is moist, and it is packed full of flavor and freshness. Can't forget that. This is great. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So make sure you watch this full video, and if you will, go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't, and let's play. So first, I've already got 5 garlic cloves that have been peeled, and then we're going to add 2 whole onions, and then I have 6 or 7 excuse me, 6 or 7 Serrano peppers, and then a whole bunch of cilantro. I know this is different. I'm trying a new recipe. I figured I'd share it with you guys. And this is a 1/4 cup of olive oil and lime juice, and a 1/4 cup lime juice. Just gonna pour this in there. And we're gonna mix this up and get this nice and almost like close to a puree. And then we're gonna add in a cup of brown sugar and 2 tablespoons of salt. So we're gonna just pulse it for a little bit and then we'll put it on high. So it's almost at a puree, so we're gonna add our brown sugar and our salt mixture. We're just gonna go on high to make sure this gets mixed in very well. All right, that's good. We're gonna take and set this to the side. We're gonna put it in our bowl. It's almost like a salsa in a way, but it's more puree. And then once we get our brisket trimmed, we'll add this to it, and then we'll wrap it in saran wrap overnight. Let all those flavors work together, and then we'll stick it on the smoker. So our marinade's sitting in the refrigerator, getting nice and cool. So let's trim this bad boy. This is 18-pound brisket. Yum! So we're gonna cut this out of the bag here. And I'll try not to make too much of a mess. We did pretty good there, besides this little bit right here. So we want to trim down as much as we can, but we don't want to take away all the fat because that's where a lot of your flavor comes from. Just so you know, because I bought this brisket a while back and I stuck it in the freezer and I've been waiting to use it. So when you get a good sale on brisket, you want to, when you're thawing this, you want to put it in the refrigerator. Per 3 pounds is 1 day. Now this has not been in the refrigerator for 6 days. It's been in there for 4 days. So we're going to trim this up. We're going to make sure our marinate gets on here real nice. And then we are going to wrap it with saran wrap, or try my best to wrap it with saran wrap because it's a big piece of meat. So let's start getting some of this fat off. And what we cut off is not going to waste, let me tell you. We're gonna put it in this pot here for now. But we want to try to get, most of the fat off, not all of it. Because like I said, that's where a lot of your flavor comes from. And the more you trim meat, the better you will get when you know that you're cutting fat or meat. And I like to, a lot of times I will try to get get a small piece cut where I can hold and then cut. That normally helps me when I'm cutting. So we're going to cut off this. We want to make sure we get the shiny stuff off because that messes with your flavors getting into the meat. And another reason that I'm marinating this overnight is because it's such a big piece of meat. We want to make sure that those flavors work in there. And like I said earlier, this is a new recipe for me. I'm trying something different, so I hope you guys enjoy this. And then we're gonna I'm gonna move this over just so you guys can see, and I'm gonna cut this end off right here. Not a lot of it, just trying to get to the good meat. And definitely having a sharp knife definitely helps. So if you're in a market to buy a good set of knives, it'll be in my description below. There'll be a link, and these knives are American made, 100%. The company has been around for 75 years. And they put out a great product, and it's also backed by a lifetime guarantee. You can't get much better than that, friends, especially these days. So now we're going to work on this top side, and there's a lot of fat here. And then we're going to smoke this thing tomorrow and get up early and let this smoke for a while. But you definitely do not want to try to take all the fat out of this. And this size of the brisket, you want to figure about 1/3 of a pound per serving, somewhere around in there. But see, we want to get most of this off, just because if you don't, your flavor is not going to get in there from what you're marinating or using. But this is a nice, good, thick brisket. I was really happy when I bought this. And now I get to smoke it. Try to get some of that. So you want to take your knife in there and kind of do like an angle cut. And this will also help your brisket lay down just a little bit. See, look, I mean, that's pretty much all fat. Like I said, we want to leave some of that in there, but we're going to go down at an angle, and I can tell I'm hitting meat now. See, that lays down nice. And I'm going to take off some more of this edge right here. And that's going to be good enough for me. Just mainly the shiny pieces. So this, like I said, it's going to block. It's going to block it. And normally I would cut to make this more square, but this is already, the way it's cut, it's already kind of square here. So let's get our marinade. So first I'm going to take some more lime juice and kind of just sprinkle it on here. And we're just going to kind of rub this in. Lime juice is going to help break some of this meat down. So that's our first thing. And I've layered this with saran wrap so that it's going to be easier to wrap. Maybe. Actually, we're just gonna leave that there first and go ahead and get this. Now this is our mixture of the onion, the peppers, and we just wanna get a nice covering, just like if you're doing a dry rub. You wanna make sure all this is getting some of this goodness from the cilantro and the Serano peppers, the onions, the garlic, the salt, the brown sugar. Because this is gonna be super flavorful. And we wanna make sure that we get inside this right here real good. The lime juice. Like I said, you just wanna kind of massage that lime juice in there. Make sure you get it all over. And then we're gonna add this in. You know, try to get it on the edges, the sides. Don't be stingy with it because we made plenty of it. And you're gonna wanna discard this afterwards because it's not gonna be any good with us touching the meat and then putting our hands back in it. So I wanna make sure that I get a nice amount of this because this I made some brisket the other day and made this and let it marinate in it after I cooked it to make some quesadillas and some nachos. Oh my gosh, it was so good. So flavorful. Had some spice, had the sweetness, had the smoke flavor. I mean, this was wonderful. So we're gonna take this glove off, set it here, and then I'm gonna take these ends. And we're just gonna try to wrap this as much as possible so we don't, none of this leaks out. Might need some more saran wrap, but that's all right. But you wanna get it as tight as possible. So we're gonna lose a little bit. Like I said, that's all right. We just want to wrap this real good, real tight, try to get any of the air out because that'll help with the marinate process. Guys, like I said, this is a new recipe for me, something I'm trying out. I hope you guys will try it as well because this is going to be nice and flavorful. Let this marinate overnight. And then we're gonna stick this on the smoker tomorrow, and we'll probably cook this for at least 9, maybe 10 hours, just depending on how fast our temp gets up. Because we'll look for 165 before we wrap it in our brown paper. And then you're gonna want a 205-ish. Good morning. It's the next day after our brisket has marinated overnight in our mixture that we made. This smells wonderful. This would be a wonderful time if we had smell-o-vision. I'm not lying. This smells wonderful. So good. I've got the smoker heating up right now. So once it gets to my magic temp of 275, we'll pop this sucker on and probably cook it somewhere between 8 to 10 hours. Like I said, we want it at 165. We'll wrap it. And then we'll cook it until it gets an internal temp of 205. All right, guys, so we're at we are at 165 in the biggest part of the meat. So we want to wrap this real good. And this smells amazing. I love some good smoked brisket. You just want to make sure you wrap your brisket real good. And then we're gonna stick this back in until it reaches an internal temp of 205. You kind of want to wrap it like you would a Christmas present. I'm just going to tuck these ends in. Man, I cannot wait till this gets to temp and try this. So I'm gonna probably have this with some charo beans because of the marinate that we did, and some roasted corn on the cob. Oh man, some tacos. Woo, woo, woo. I'm telling you, this is good stuff. It's been 10 hours and we have a wonderful smoked smelling brisket. Cannot wait to cut into this. Actually, I really can't wait to eat this. So let's see. Ooh. Oh, I can hear the juice already. Oh, wow. Look at that. Look at that juice coming out. Man, oh man. We're gonna have to try some of this. Nice and char on the bottom a little. Oh, wow. I think this is the best brisket I've ever made. This is good. You guys need to check out this recipe. Watch this full video. Man, this is delicious. So much flavor. You get a little sweet, and then you have a little heat at the end. This is a great recipe, a great marinade. So make sure you guys watch this full video. Check out the description below so that you guys don't miss any of this. This is goodness right here. Wow. So good. Thank you guys for viewing. And we want to thank all of our subscribers and all the guys that are out there commenting, leaving comments. That means a lot. We really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And also, please make sure you do the 3 S's. Smash that like button. Share with everyone. And then ring my bell so you get our notifications. Thanks so much, and God bless.